It's May 17th, 2022. I watched the news earlier. I was able to loop in a program I saw on Sunday with some of there was a naval office message. Real brief, but it's confusing because it's a hearing, which means there's multiple agenda and multiple nations inside this naval office. Nobody's wearing a uniform with bling. It's just suits and ties. And they were talking about UFO and UAP, but like, I don't know who's eating off of whose agenda. So I made note of that with some of the other stuff going on. Now, I taped at this point, I taped the 3-hour block that the Bureau in Channel 7's working on at ABC, and then I go through them. But so much of the stuff is a repeat with very little variation. But what I did notice was I had mentioned earlier at the 4 o'clock hour about the redistricting in New York. But at the 6 o'clock hour, same channel, they went into greater detail. They said they were going to use for New York, they were going to use the official word of the poli-science whatever, which is it's a mess. Then they actually add in that someone from NYU, which is one of the local universities, for his contribution from, I guess, he's the level of scholar we have here, just also so my end gets a bar and a gauge as to, like, what's, like, are they really, like, integrated and, like, one tight-knit, like, solid force to be reckoned with in New York? No, not the right people. It feels like the right people have been blocked out of moving like a solid one force, and something else is taken over. It's part of a bigger existential problem.
In New Jersey and Connecticut, and nearly 9.5% in New York.
More fallout tonight from the new redistricting map in New York.
Now, I know I saw some place in the world they refer to here as Australia. They had two very, I would say, Japanese-looking women, but with two completely different accents. And their entire voice on that reference that they're whatever, some solid unit of some sort, or that's what they want people to believe. I don't know how their area works. They were on something called a Bloomberg surveillance that showed up on my TV when I pressed the power button the other day. And they were going about voting. I mean, they must have said it. I lost count of how many times. I didn't know I should count. I wasn't taping it. But it was like about their vote. And I'm just like, you all actually get a participation part in this humanity thing? Because I don't get that in New York so far. Anyway, nobody's asked, nobody's come to listen, and it seems other people have some other process they're involved with, and time just is ticking away. But here, tonight, it says your voice, your vote. Where do you get to, like, voice this thing? I mean, like, I'm doing this, but only because I'm documenting my health and how it's ailing, and some of the outer space issues I got going on with what's just in my local point of view, POV, that I can visually see. what's coming into the house via transmissions of fomite of newspaper, local, not the not paid one, the free one, so somebody else is footing the bill to see what they're up to, and with what's coming through on the televised fomite or vector, whatever. But here it says your voice, your vote. So again, that vote word at votive, it's like a candle.
Determines what district political candidates will represent. In short, and we want to use the official political science terminology here, it's a mess. Two veteran congressional members now in the same district running against each other, and a handful of representatives no longer living in their districts, as we said.
So the system had gotten so corrupt that the people in charge are no longer living in the district that they're responsible for, or their district is so horrible they don't want to live there. Nobody noticed. Nobody thought, hey, we should do something. This looks like something's not right here. Or is this part of the quiet cover-up and conspiracies New York City's been running off of, tied into something going on in Albany, in an even bigger problem, an even bigger hidden problem? Some other guy said the word allegedly. Well, my legs can't seem to get up there or into any place where they needed to be since I arrived. So I don't know what they're hiding, but it's coming forth in all sorts of weird ways.
It's a mess. Here's NJ Burkett.
For the first time, Manhattan's congressional districts will be divided horizontally and not vertically. And residents of the east side will have the same congressperson as residents on the west side. Elsewhere, places like Bedford-Stuyvesant and the northern Bronx will be carved up. And tonight, critics say thousands of black New Yorkers will be disenfranchised, their political power diluted. Powerful House Leader Hakeem Jeffries has been effectively drawn out of his own district.
Yes, we have a problem with these maps. It would make Jim Crow blush.
The maps were issued this week.
So you think those magical words are just gonna, make the last 43 years and everything that's gone wrong in New York just magically disappear? And the 70 before, while Linda was stuck here and some whatever institute was growing dangerously somewhere else.
By an independent special master after the original maps drawn up by state Democratic leaders in Albany were declared unconstitutional. A self-inflicted wound, says Professor Mitchell Moss of NYU.
This is going to make New York look like an embarrassment to the National Party. That here they control the governorship, the legislature, even the courts, they thought, and they could not get the districting done in a way that would even keep the Democrats in power who were there.
So they look incompetent.
I think political incompetence is what's going on here.
The new map put
So political incompetence, some racially fueled media stunt, some 50-year advancement on what I needed from the wrong people, some foreign money, then some foreign friendship with this new flight of everybody's flying, some global expansion problem with some hotels, and now everybody's kids going to college, getting athletic degrees, and growing all sorts of the wrong way. And a couple of people in New York couldn't get their stuff together because they were afraid they'd look bad. You're going to look worse in the future, and in the future, it comes with real severe consequences.
puts much of the 11th district back on Staten Island, which is good news for incumbent Republican Nicole Malliotakis, facing a comeback campaign by Democrat Max Rose. The overall impact leaves 15 counties split rather than 34. More districts would be compacted, and the number of competitive districts would nearly triple, and at least 5 members of Congress would see their districts drawn right out from under them.
Listening to those words, just in this short, one time, whatever, it's like listening to either a hockey announcer, a football announcer, baseball, doesn't matter. I like, unless there's a reason why like this much noise needs for me like to pay attention and have this much concentration, I zone out. I'm like, wait, what? Like, because again, I don't have a construct built for what I was built for at RH negative. I don't have a construct built within this human time frame where the humans made that something that was whatever in their social engineering. They engineered me out of whatever, of understanding whatever that was. And I don't know where to find somebody to tell me just how important that is and which piece of it's important. Because it looks like the whole system right now is in some form of disrepair.
Former Mayor de Blasio is now a likely candidate for the newly redrawn District 10. But
It looks like they have some framework there. It's just there's like renovation going on, and I'm not quite sure why the people that were already running things down and dangerous the entire time are even allowed to help now that we're down to bare bones framework. Why are those people in any position of power to help rebuild? I'm just curious.
most dramatic change is coming in Manhattan, where Gerald Nadler's district has been merged into Carolyn Maloney's District 12. Two institutions in New York politics forced to run against one another. But tonight, many experts expect the maps to remain essentially the same. Both Democrats and Republicans will have one last chance to weigh in before the judge issues his final ruling on Friday. In Midtown Manhattan, NJ Burke at Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Wow. Still to come on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock on this busy Tuesday night, a Be Kind story.
Yes, during this nation.
So there's just a lot adding up and piling on to this New England area. The portion that I've been held within is New York. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. And it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.